Hello, everybody. This is Miguel, and this is How Was the Race? Today we have two guests on. We have Carrie and Paul Miller. They are owners of On Pace Pacing or On Pace Race. Correct me on that, please.
On pace race.
On Pace Race. Alrighty. We have They're owners of On Pace Race, and we're going to be talking about the Milwaukee Lakefront Marathon. Today's featured beer is going to be a pumpkin lager from Lakefront Brewery. This is coming in at a nice even 6.1 ABV and nice low 10 IBUs. So it's going to be nice and smooth and really good for after a race. We're going to give that 3.5 medals out of 5 on the rating scale. And let's go ahead and enjoy that. And let's talk to Paul and Carrie. Paul, he's coming in at 94 marathons. He is right there below the Hall of Famer status on the marathons, but with his halves, he's definitely within the Hall of Fame category. Carrie, she's coming in at 115 plus marathons. So she has definitely got that Hall of Famer status. For those unfamiliar, the Hall of Famer is over 100. The veterans are over 20. Journeymen are below 20. And rookies are below 5. I might have messed that up a little bit there. But either how, 5 and below is rookie, 10 and below is journeyman, above 10 is veteran, above 20 is veteran, and then, yes, Hall of Famer, 100 plus. So, my props to everybody, no matter your distance and no matter how many medals you have around your neck. So, let's go ahead and speak on the Milwaukee Lakefront Marathon. Paul, how did you first hear about this race?
Carrie ran this race in 2006 when they were giving away a 100% cotton shirt that she had that we converted into one of those blankets after the fact. But basically, her sister, her brother-in-law, her brother, and I relayed it, if I remember right, while Carrie ran it, and we absolutely crushed her by 5 minutes.
So, Carrie, since Carrie was the first one to run this, what brought you to this race?
I think just because it's close. And some of the people I was working with were gonna do it. So I'm like, well, I'm a marathoner now. I'm gonna do it too. So I worked at the Kohler Company in Kohler, Wisconsin, which is just out the way from Milwaukee. So it was a close drive and we thought, yeah, I'll try this one out.
Oh, okay. That's real nice. So, do you remember? Well, you've ran this one several times since. How's the registration process for that? Is it a fairly simple registration? I assume it's probably like run sign up. I'm realizing as a little side note that as I ask this with every interview, it seems like almost everybody's has fairly easy registration. But for now, we're going to keep asking. So, do you recall the registration process, Gary?
Well, I know I registered both of us to pace it. And because I don't remember it, that means it was easy since we register so many times. Like it sticks out to me if it's different or hard, and that it wasn't. So I think we're good.
Okay. I think only the races that have in-house or that manage your own registration by some means, those are a little bit more difficult. However, even those, I believe, Chicago Marathon, when I first ran that one, it was self-registration. However, now there's others. I thought it was, at least it looked like it was on the website, but I guess there's back end stuff going on that I wasn't aware of on the software side. And now the Monumental uses the same system for registration. So now once you registered once, and now it's easy for Chicago Monumental, and I believe there's one other one I run that uses the Indianapolis half, which used to be called the Fort Bend, and I think it's now called the Indy half or something like that. So leading up to the race, now I guess it is important to note that you two do pace the race. As pacers, we typically sign up a little bit later than when most people would sign up. Do you remember? Do you sign up normally about a month, 6 weeks? How far ahead do you recall signing up for this race?
Um, well, it's in October and we signed up, I feel like about a month ago. So 2.5 months beforehand. I think that's pretty typical. I think we're between 2 and 3 months ahead that the pace team usually signs up.
Do you recall getting many emails? Are you inundated just enough to keep you informed? How's the email junk mail? I shouldn't call it junk mail because it might not be junk mail, but how inundated are you with these emails?
Gosh, I don't feel like I've received any. No. Mm-mm. Nothing. Maybe one after we registered.
Well, I think it also skews it because you all run so many races per year that unless it's too many emails, it would probably get lost in the mix, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. So Paul, we're getting ready. We're registered. We got the registration email and confirmation email. We're going to the expo. What is the expo like? How's it getting there? Is the parking easy? Is it in a large convention center? Is it in a coffee shop? What are we looking at? What are we expecting?
So great question. And so from a prep standpoint, this is Wisconsin's largest marathon. And if I were to give you a number, I want to say it's somewhere between 2,500 and 3,500 marathoners running it. Carrie,
For the full.
for the full.
And there's also a half.
There's a half. They introduced the half last year or maybe 2 years ago. It hasn't. I mean, this is put on by Badgerland Striders, great organization. Guy named Scotty is the race director, wonderful, passionate man, and cares a lot. You know, it comes through in all the ways. And I think, in fact, Badgerland Striders' tagline is by runners or for runners by runners or whatnot. And so you can just tell that there's a good core running community that's leading this race. It's not a corporate thing. This is homies that are pounding the pavement just like anybody else. So at any rate, Baird Convention Center is a large convention center, probably the premier convention center in downtown Milwaukee, right down the road from not the Bradley Center anymore, but where the Bucks play. And like it's right there. Parking, it'll cost you $10, but
15.
maybe 15, sure. But it's plentiful, and the convention center, they have it really well represented. There's a ton of vendors there. Like, it's a bigger expo, I would say, than I think a lot of the packet pickups that we run into today, where people are zipping in and zipping out. This one is to come, to stay, to explore, and it gives Milwaukee a chance to show off. And so that's what I know. I think the expo is, I would give it top notch. We have a great, they set us on pace up with a really premier spot right by the bib pickup area. So, in a very large area, we highlight our area with banners that showcase the names of the pacers and the times that they're pacing, and we have it well staffed. And I would say there's 5 to 20 people talking or milling in and around the pacing booth the whole day from start to finish.
Okay. And I like to point out for those that's a little new to racing, marathons and such, come by and talk to the pacers. Most of us are extroverts already. We have, even if we're not fully knowledgeable on that particular race, we're generally familiar with racing in general and can give you a few pointers in case you're a little nervous. You don't know what your split should be, which we won't advise you, or most of us, we won't advise you exactly what goal you should go for, but we might be able to give you a little insight of whether or not your goal is fully realistic or not. I'm trying to think of the correct way to put that. But come by, speak to the pacers. You know, if you're really nervous or whatever it is, come talk to us. We're here for that. And it's nice to see that the pacers are really close to where the packet pickup is there. So Carrie, if I was to arrive at the expo and say I flew in from out of town and I forgot my shorts, not saying that's ever happened, not saying that's not ever happened, but say that I forgot my shorts for the race. I show up to the expo with pants on or shorts, and I forgot my running shorts. So with Paul, I'm assuming that I'll be able to walk in with nothing and be able to walk out with the with what I need for the race.
Yes. I feel like whenever I'm there, I'm working the booth and I didn't walk around maybe as much as Paul, but I believe there is like a sporting good section that has shirts and shorts, shoes and goo and all that stuff. Multiple. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. You could come in naked and come out in runner, ready to go for the marathon.
Okay, so we're going in. The expo has everything we need. I assume that there's drop bags at the. So we're getting ready for. Well, before we even get to the drop bag situation, let's speak of getting to the race itself. Do you? How is the traffic in that area? How is the street flow? How early do you think people should arrive for that, Harry?
That Paul's going to answer that one.
Little plug to Marquette University, which is where I went to college. It's right down the road from Marquette, and it is downtown, major metropolitan. I think Milwaukee's like the 18th largest city or top 20s largest city in the U.S. So street parking, even on a Sunday morning at 5:30 is probably not the easiest thing in the world. So you're going to want to get a hotel in downtown Milwaukee. That's what I would highly suggest, because you can get a cheaper one in the burbs or 10 minutes away or whatnot, but then you're going to have to drive in, and then you're going to have to hunt and peck around for some street parking, which there is, but it might just make sense to just grab a downtown hotel. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I believe they have you park at the finish, and there's a little shuttle that takes you to the start.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that might change this year, but I don't know, because the finish was always at the Summerfest grounds. So Summerfest is this huge, massive music festival that just kicked out maybe 2 months ago in Milwaukee. I think they changed the finish line this year. I think they're excited about the new finish, but I can't totally recall what that new finish line is right now. And if they're going to have that same park here and we'll shuttle you there service, this is no Boston to Hopkinton type of shuttle. This is not 26 miles. It's like 1.5.
Yeah, it's like you could walk it, but it's just long enough that you're like, maybe I'll take this shuttle. I think we've done it both ways.
Yeah, I think we've done it both ways. So good memory.
Okay, and that's okay. It's interesting also, because as you do these races year after year after year, I believe that I've done Go St. Louis, which is now called something else, but it'll remain Go forever. Go St. Louis, Monumental in Indianapolis, and then Derby in Louisville, Kentucky, as well as Chicago. Out of those races, only Chicago and Monumental have stayed in the same location of the finish line. Every other race I've done, because of different capital projects or city projects and things that happen, permits and such, the finish lines or the course as well, the whole course has shifted before. So that's one caveat to keep out there, especially if you ran a race during COVID and post-COVID. There might be like a COVID course depending on which race it was. So with this, so this is a point-to-point race, but it's close, but it's still a point-to-point race. Take me through the course a little bit, because it makes me think that I'm just running along the lakefront, but it also makes me think now with 3,500 people, it's not going to be just up and down the lakefront.
I'm going to talk about one small but kind of major part of this course, and then you want to talk about the rest of the course because you kind of know that area because you went to college there in Milwaukee. So this race, as you said, has changed a ton over the years. It used to go from north of Milwaukee, Grafton, you wouldn't even call it Milwaukee, and then end in Milwaukee. Now it starts downtown and it ends downtownish, or Summerfest, like you said, not too far away. So the whole course massively changed. I think this will be the third year of that. So it's nothing the same. And in doing that, it's great. It is more along the lakefront. However, there is a big bridge that we need to go over twice. So right at the beginning, you go over this huge bridge, and then at the end, you have to come over it again. So it has made the course a lot harder because it's a big bridge. I want to say it's 1.5 miles up, 1.5 miles down. Is that too big?
So no, I think that carries pretty right. Like when you take the point to point of the bridge, like when I'm starting to hit the on ramp to when I'm finally off of it, I think the net is 2.5 miles, or maybe just a little bit under that.
It's around 2.5.
So you've got
3. Yeah.
5 miles of bridge, and there is a clear, longer side to the bridge. That longer side to the bridge is at mile 24 or 23 and a half.
I mean, it's
so,
tough.
So
God.
on the way out, you kind of go the 3/4 to a mile up, and then you have this nice 1.5 miles down. But then 20 miles later, you pay for that because you've got to climb the 1.5. And like, for instance, last year with my pace group, I think we were maybe 12 deep at 23 and a half or so when we hit the bridge. And I hit the top of the bridge. And I'm like, hey, guys, one person made it to the top with.
Yeah. So you do need to allow some extra time, especially in those later miles of the race, and it's usually getting a little hot then.
Yeah, sure.
So that's that. Do you want to talk about the rest of the?
Yeah, it's a nice little like weave around downtown. If I remember right, we don't just like
trail.
We don't just shoot right to the bridge and then over the bridge, but then once we are onto the south side of Milwaukee, it's neighborhoody. It's definitely
water.
It's definitely parky. It's definitely traily.
It doesn't seem big city.
Yeah, I would say that. I would agree for sure. They have it really well marked off. Very safe, secure environment. Even though it's a big city, which is awesome.
Crowd support's pretty good.
Crowd support is great. Relatively flat, save for the bridges. And there are certain parts that are just, I would even say like, gorgeous. Like you're on a bluff, especially as you're coming back on a bluff, there's trees, there's people, you see some of the downtown Milwaukee sticking out. The whole Lake Michigan shorefront is there. It's October, so it's still nice outside. I don't know. It's a great race.
Okay. So as you're going along, I guess in the beginning, but also along the course, how are the aid stations? How are the porta pot situations? How the nutrition on course? Do you happen to recall that?
I think they do a really good job with it. I remember it being spot on. Less than 2 miles between. Ample porta potties. Nutrition on the course, yes, all that is great. I think when it got hot, they might have put ice out there, or maybe like even like little rags or towels or something. They did a great job with those parts of the race. I'd say A+.
And I think that when you get to the random condo complexes or whatnot on your way back on the second half, the neighborhood community having their own table with watermelon slices and bananas, and those are just cool little. That's not the race, but it's part of the race. That when the community comes out to support as part of the race, it's really great. Plus, I want watermelon. Add mile 19. That's way better than water. So,
Yes, gosh, that would be great. That getting that community support. That's one thing of running small and or small town, mid-sized race and large races. Having that community support and I remember there's one race I did, Derby, around mile 3 or 4, there's a retirement home, I believe it is, and they come out and they hand out orange slices.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize how much I loved that until I ran the race in 22. Yes, when I ran the race in 22, they weren't out because I assume it was still COVID related in 22 that they chose not to come out. So not having them there is kind of a letdown because I didn't realize how much I liked it until I didn't have it. And it's like, man, I really missed that. So you're going in, you go up and over this long bridge that So, by the way, we keep speaking of weather. I think it's important to note this race. It's an October race, so it'll be coming out. Um, the race is fairly short to when this episode will be released. What is because I was speaking to, we have an interview with Andy, and Andy's from Florida, and so his definition of what is a hot temperature versus mine being in central Indiana and yours being up north, what would you say the hot temperatures are getting into?
That's the thing. It's Wisconsin in fall, and it could be really hot or it could be kind of cold.
Kind of cold.
Not really cold. And I feel like the last couple of years it's been hot there. Like hotter than you would think it would be, where it was somewhat almost oppressive. But that's the thing. You don't know. You have to be kind of ready for anything. We have a lot of humidity in Wisconsin, and that can strike and fall a lot, and it has the last couple of years. So,
in fall 23, Twin Cities Marathon was canceled.
Yeah.
And Milwaukee Lakefront rolled.
It was on the same date. They're on the same
day.
Yeah. I mean, we're different states, but
they have 20,000 people.
Yeah.
That's a big to do. And this is big to do, but it's not as big, and it's not corporate backed and whatnot. So this is just a bunch of rugged runners that are like, no, we're doing this.
So that can happen. And I believe it was like, what did it get?
It's hot, 82, 83.
80s for sure, 85.
I was cooked.
Do they follow, do you know if they follow the flag system, the green, yellow, red, black?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, do you recall was that a red flag race or a yellow flag, or do you remember?
It's not.
Open flag, but never a black, but they canceled it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It's like, okay, it's gonna be hot, but we gotta keep going.
Yeah, I think 23 the same year that the Chicago Marathon got black flagged?
I don't know. I remember that. I feel like that might have been earlier, but maybe we'll try to look it up on the side here.
I think it was 23 or 22 that because I remember I was running a race that no longer exists, Whiskey Daddle, Peoria, Illinois. It's west by about 90 miles from Chicago, and that was a very hot race that day. One of the aid stations was not there when I got there with an empty water bottle. So 2 miles later, luckily somebody was on their porch. They was having a porch party, and they thought I wanted shots of alcohol, and I was like, no, actually, I just want water. I'll come back later for the alcohol. I'll come back for that. But right now, I just need water. Mm-hmm. That was an interesting day. I think that had been 22. So you're going in, you're running along. I believe you're running along roads most of the way, maybe a few paths, but mainly roads. So you're going in, aid stations every 2 miles or so. I believe you said Goo was on course, or did we not get that part? Or do you not recall?
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Goo.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Goo is a fairly common nutrition to have on course. But yeah, Goo was on course, Gatorade to drink. So I point that out because if you're planning on doing this race, me personally, I cannot do Goo for marathons, especially in warm weather. I could do Goo for half marathons if the weather's around 70, 75 and below and the humidity's low. But for me and my body, I can't do Goo outside of that range, above that range. So, however, for everybody else, I encourage you while you're training, especially on your long runs, go to your local running store and buy some Goo, some Tailwind, some Gatorade, some, honestly, Haribio, I think it's pronounced. If it ain't, don't come at me. Gummy bears. I have had gummy bears in marathons, gummy worms in marathons, pretzel sticks, real food as well, or even heavily processed food like gummy bears. Sometimes that does, if you know how to do it, especially if you can do it right, like I'll chew it up a little bit and keep it in my gum, almost like a tobacco pouch. And that gets the sugar into my system, or at least I think it does. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but mentally it helps, and then I'll swallow it about a half mile later, and I'll put another one or two gummy bears in there. Um, but that comes with experience. So if you're out there running your miles, try some things out, because on race day you don't want your race to go south, and now you've paid $1,000 to get to this race, and you're having a bad situation, to put it gently. So, okay, so you come in, you're navigating the course, you come back across the bridge, you shredded your legs on the bridge a second time. You're coming into the finishing chute. How is the finishing chute? How is that area? How is that atmosphere there?
Good. They have a big jumbotron LED screen that I think is awesome. They've got bleacher seating set up, and people are behind both sides of the barricades. Pretty good welcome reception, ton of volunteers. They've got because it's on the Summerfest grounds, they have a band up on stage already blasting to all the people that finished in 3:10. That's not me. That's more her. So the party's in advance is already rocking, and you're coming into it, so it definitely has a vibe. And also, as you're coming down the Hone, that's the bridge, the Hone. As you're coming down it, you're overlooking that action too. So it's pretty cool because you're seeing it again. I think that the finish line is changing positions this year, but it was pretty cool to kind of like see all the finishers as you were like, oh, I'm less than a half mile from that. So that's pretty fun too. And then you did a little button hook and came around, and then you were there. So, but yeah, finish line was rad. Like they do it right for sure. They do it. They listened. If we're runners that operate races as well, if we're listening to people and we're then applying, it's those little details that come into play that matter, and I think just making sure that it's as electric as you can be, that you're attentive to making sure that there's appropriate water station, like the core stuff. People are at 26.2. It's hard. What it doesn't matter if it's 115 or if it's 94 or if it's 10 or if it's 3 or if it's number 1. It's always going to be hard. It's always 26 miles. So making sure that you're setting up the participants to have the best experience possible. They do it.
That's really amazing. I like the fact that you can there's part of it. I like that you can see the finish line before you're there. And I also like when I can't see the finish line before I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm happy with both results. It's Chicago 13-1. We spoke of that race, and that race, you're navigating, and all of a sudden you're about 200 meters from the finish when you see the finish. But then you have like this race, and you can see the finish when you're on the bridge, and you still have a ways to go. And then I like both of those. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just what makes racing.
When you're on those double loop half marathon courses, like my buddy Johnny Mortimer runs this race called Clearwater at the end of January. And so you flip around, you're 13.1, and all the homies are taking a left to go drink beer and be done. And you're like, oh,
just got to do that.
Let me just go do that.
That reminds me, I know it's in the middle of the pod there or whatever, but we did not speak of what races we have ran together. I met you all at Clearwater, but I think we've only ran Clearwater and Jack and Jill together.
Don't forget Fort to Base.
Yeah, Fort.
Oh yes, Fort to Base, which is no longer, it's in hiatus currently.
Yeah.
And you faced Run the Alamo, but we didn't go to it.
Yes. Yeah. That was Run the Alamo. That was a very interesting course. It was at a TPC golf course for the listeners. It's a night race as well.
Starts at night.
You're not
Run the Alamo.
No,
I thought you did Run the Alamo. That was my bet.
No,
yeah.
I was still in Austin. No, yeah,
San Antonio.
Yeah, San Antonio.
The Hennessy team. Great team.
The hotel
events.
Yeah.
The J-Dub Marriott.
Yeah.
Yes, but that race, it's a beautiful golf course. If anybody has time to go and money, my gosh, to go golf before or afterwards, go for it. I don't know what the requirements are to go golf there, except for $400 or something like that, apparently, for a round. But it was a beautiful course, and we ran on the golf cart path. We didn't run across the greens or nothing like that, so don't worry, we didn't stump up that area. That the greens are still. I think they have marksmen out there protecting the greens, if I remember right. I forget, but so that was a good race. But anyhow, getting back to so normally we cover in the beginning what races we ran together. The Jack and Jill race we still haven't. That episode won't release for a few more weeks until after this episode. So for those listening, it's going to be kind of hodgepodgey there, but we're having fun. So you're coming in, you see yourself on the jumbotron. They have the stadium seating. You get your medal. What is the medal like?
What do you think?
Oh, I was just gonna go get it when I was, Paul talking. I'm like, he's gonna ask us about the medal. Have it right.
I'll talk about the one from 2 years ago because it was really cool.
Okay.
So the one from 2 years ago was their 40th year.
Okay.
And so what they gave was a medal of today's size. And in the middle of it, they did a replica of the medal that you got 40 years ago. So it was literally an inch by inch, like little like nugget. And it was insert in the heart of this like typical 4-inch by 4-inch medal of today.
That's a good medal.
I just thought it was a really clever design.
Yeah.
And I think that they were pretty proud of it too.
It's nice getting these as I've gotten into it, seeing these well-designed medals and the way they capture the spirit of that area. And it's also nice seeing that this race group that's putting this on, the Badgerland Striders. They're coming at it not from to me at least, not from a corporate, let's make as much money as possible or something. They're coming from it from let's make a enjoyable race. Let's make a race for runners.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That vibe is very, very much there.
So how was the post-race? So I don't think we spoke around the post-race area. Is there a lot of food available? Is there a party atmosphere going on? I think we might have hinted at it earlier, but I just want to be sure.
Yeah, there's a good party atmosphere. Like Paul said, there's bands playing. There's beer. Milwaukee's known for beer.
Milwaukee guys.
Do we get one beer or two?
7.
Oh yeah, and there were like sandwiches, and there's also food trucks if you want something else. Pizza, like it is great. It is definitely a race where you want to stick around at the end and hang out, because people are eating and drinking and having fun.
Yeah,
and
I think that there's a scurry to. There's a little kind of a hot spotty place called Water Street, which is on the Milwaukee River, less than a mile away from there. And I think that there's a lot of people that get done at Summerfest grounds, killing their marathon, and then you see them with their medal. It's kind of like a Boston-ish kind of thing where you'll see the medals throughout the day as long as you hang out in the city. And usually somebody's got a cocktail in their hands. So, good.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna. Well, I have a feeling you all celebrated at the finish line, but and you are a little more local to that race. But how do you all celebrate that race? How do you think? Yeah.
I mean, in the end, before we can rip it up, I mean, on pace, we always have a tent. We have a sponsor, and this particular one, we had our sponsor, so we had samples there, and our team tends to recombobulate. And then, as you know from pacing, Miguel, like hopefully you've met people along the way. They brand recognize our tent or this or that, and then they come and see. So you end up getting into these like the end of the conversations with somebody that you lost at mile 17 or lost at 20 or 22 or what have you. So some of that is just like the rest of the story. You got to know them from mile 1 to mile X, and then you get to fill in the blank from X to the end. So that's I would say like that's more of a typical Pacers. I mean, we the Pacers, you, Miguel, and Carrie, myself, sometimes our post-race experience is storytelling as opposed to cocktailing.
And we probably stay, we try to stay till the last
Yep.
Pacers come through. And I think, we try for that one to stay until the sweeper comes through, just to make sure, everyone's okay, listen to everyone's story, kind of recombobulate with everyone, celebrate with everyone. And then because we are the leaders of the pace team, we'll have to pack up all our stuff and
and everybody else having 7 beers now.
Yes.
I do need also I wanted to point out for this one, how do you recall what the sweeper is for the sweep time, the cutoff time for that race?
Our slowest pacer was 6:30, and then sweep was beyond that. And I knew just had it up. I want to say it was 7:15, but I could be right. I'm even trying to think of who.
Yeah, but they didn't keep it open for forever.
They didn't.
No,
you're right.
There was
so
I don't know.
Races, we've run into this. It is what it is. The race has negotiations with police departments, with streets, with cities, with shutdowns, with openings out. In this one, because the Hone Bridge, the entire bridge is shut down, and it's so close to the finish line, less than a half mile away, like there's rigidity to a cutoff time. And so whenever a race has such things like that and rigidity, it's really important to respect that, because they don't want to say, they're not trying to cut you off. They're just trying to say, like, listen, if we go beyond this, like cars are zooming by you, or we got cops like $18 million an hour extra overtime because they weren't planning to do that, so things get in the way of logistics. I mean, all of these big major metropolitans or minor metropolitan events, the bigger the city, the bigger the pain in the tail.
Yeah,
for sure. So they're not trying to be rude or crude or unconscientious of your goals. They're just trying to make sure that everybody can have a safe, secure environment while still respecting the finances and all the other things that go into it. So it's an interesting, as a participant, we only knew so much. I think now, because of our role, we get to know a lot more about the behind the scenes that goes into race management than just what meets the eye.
I think that's one thing that as we get become pacers and live within that community of pacing and pace coordinating, or knowing pace coordinators and knowing race directors and affiliates and such, that we learn those aspects. And I want to thank you for pointing that out, because I think a lot of people don't fully realize the cost occurred, both financially and indirect, of having certain roads or bridges or intersections closed. The New York City Marathon, I believe, I've heard, I don't know firsthand, that the finish line is open for 24 hours.
It is.
The course is not. The course has a strict cutoff of whatever it is, but you can walk the sidewalks and make your finish line. However, that is the location of the finish line and the number of volunteers. There's different aspects involved there than there are at the Milwaukee Lakefront Marathon, or the Colfax, or the Jack and Jill, or whatever race you want to insert here. So I think that is a very important aspect that you brought up, and I appreciate that you did bring that up. So I do have to ask with this particular race. Do you all swing by the Harley Davidson Museum, or no?
I didn't know it was going to be that serious of a question. We are not biker people. We appreciate those people and everything they stand for, and the great machines that Harley Davidsons are. However, no.
Fair. Okay, that it's not required. I will say I'm not a Harley person necessarily. I've had owned motorcycles in the past. Right now I don't, just personal time constraints, and I can't really enjoy the bike like I want to, so I don't. However, I went up there for a different race, and afterwards we went to the Harley Davidson Museum the following day, and you wouldn't believe it, but you enter and you see the first bike they ever, well, one of the first bikes, the first bike they ever produced. You see one of every model, and you see all this stuff, and it's really amazing. And you go through and you exit, and after you exit, right across the walkway, the pathway, is our Harley Davidson dealership. I mean, who would have thunk to put one right there? Who would have thunk? But it was a there's that, and then there's for those familiar with mining, um, dragline. There's a crane operation company located in Milwaukee, and there's a crane about 4 blocks from the Harley Davidson dealership to the south that is out front. I forget that it's not Kubota. Oh God, it's not Kubota. That's definitely not it. But I didn't see a museum for that. However, for weird people such as myself, that might be something you'd like to see.
Did we lose you?
Can I not hear you now?
Did you hear that part?
Oh,
Yep.
we can hear you now.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I want to.
Glitch, but we're good now.
I'll edit that. Okay, after I spoke about the crane, did you say anything?
No, we didn't say anything.
Okay, cool. Okay, so the last two. So now I want to ask these two questions. These are not necessarily important to that particular race, but in general, what shoes do you run in?
You're up.
Okay. I run marathons mainly in New Balance, Elite Comp, something like that. How do I not know? SC Elite. I pace in those, and they are super shoes, not because I need them for speed when I'm pacing, but because I do believe they help my recovery after. My legs feel better. I might have to do it again the next weekend. So those shoes are great. When I race for time, I'm wearing the Saucony brand. I do believe they're a little bit faster. And again, I don't know the exact model, but it's like the top super shoe model. It worked really well for me at Boston. So a little push for that New Balance and Saucony. Okay.
Paul?
Yes, when I run, mine are navy blue, and they have like fluorescent yellow on them, and Carrie buys them for me.
Saucony.
I have no idea the brand. She just is like, I want you to try these. And so that's
No, I actually just buy them. You don't even try them.
I have no idea what it has.
Sounds good. So these are really important to follow.
My wife I trust on my
Then I'm gonna ask because I couldn't see Carrie's watch. She has her sleeve over it right now. But what watch do you run in? What watch do you use?
Garmin Phoenix. This is a 6. I think they're up to at least 7 by now, though. It's gotten better with different upgrades and stuff. It's been good for me. Love it. Plug the Garmin brand.
Carrie, I stick my wrist out and I say, can you tell me when I just have to press the top right button?
And he doesn't even keep his own watch like in his possession. I actually charge his watch, and on race morning, just give it to him, ready to go. Hit this button to start. Hit this button to stop.
Yeah.
But it is a Garmin 945.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I run in what do I run it? Oh gosh, I can't even think. I run in New Balance 1340 V3s or V whatever is currently out at the time. Hoka Gaviota 4s and 5s, and I've ran in 3s, I believe. The Asics Glycerin wides, the Brooks Adrenaline GTS, and then the Mizuno Wave Horizon.
That's just a lot of stuff.
You're just like, whatever. Give it.
I go to we have a Dick's Warehouse sale in town, and certain times I'll be able to buy a pair of Brooks or a pair of Mizunos for $80, $90. And with my feet, I need motion control shoes. So that's if they have the GTS, which is Brooks motion control line, I'll drop $90 on that. However, when I ran Jack and Jill, I ran with it. That was my first marathon with the wide, the Asics Glycerin wide, and I was really pleased with that. So I think I might be moving towards a wide shoe.
Hmm.
But the reason why I asked that question is because we had Peter on earlier. We have you two on now. We have a Boston qualifier. We have Andy on before. We've had Heather on, who's at 318, I believe. I do not want to mess that up, so I probably did. But the thing is that we all run in different shoes, and we run in the shoes because people ask me, and I assume they ask other pacers, what shoes do you run in? And my answer is always, we run in the shoes that fit our feet. So neither one of them run well. Well, Paul doesn't know what the heck he's running in, but we're not running in. So far, I think I'm the only one that runs in motion control shoes, and according to the websites, it's a very small market anyway. So because there's usually like one shoe available in motion control. So just because you run in motion control or neutral or less stable or more stable, and just because you have a newer watch or older watch, I bought my 6X back in 19. I bought my 965, my Garmin 965 watch back in 22 at the Pittsburgh Marathon. And I bought it because dual band GPS was kind of a nice little feature that I used as the excuse. And the map feature had more colors, so it was easier to use for me. That was the main reason that I paid, I don't know, $600 for this stupid watch. I shouldn't say stupid watch, but I paid $600 for this watch. It did not make me any faster. My shoes did not make me any faster inherently. So don't, if you're new to this, as Jill pointed out in the Eugene Marathon episode, which I realize now hasn't released before this episode, you need two things. You need a positive attitude and a good pair of shoes. And you don't even need the best shoes. You just need a good pair. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then now I do want to point out, with you two owning On Pace, with Steph Dunlap with Run Strong Run, we spoke of On Pace, and I think that we should give you a little bit more time now that you can. I don't want to say defend yourself because we didn't attack you by any means, but you can better state because we spoke of, I believe Steph spoke of, because she does more back of the pack pacing and more back of the pack running. And I think that it's important to point out for those that are looking for races, especially those who are back of the pack runners, go us, we get more out of our money. On Pace, how they operate better, or you all, I don't know how to phrase that, but how you all operate, how you all approach racing, and how you all put your pacers, space your pacers within your racing.
I think at On Pace, we are very cognizant to help as many runners on course as we can, whether they're fast or slow. They're all just as important to us, and we want to support them all. So what we tend to say is we support runners from the very fast to the very last and everything in between. So we usually, our fastest pacer is somewhere around 3 hours, maybe now 2:55 with the new BQ standards. And we will have kind of like consistent intervals from that point, usually till 6 hours or even 6:30 or a sweeper. So, yep, everyone's important and everyone's supported.
Meeting is being recorded. And Miguel, this has been great. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for hosting.
I would like to thank you all for being here. Thank you all for sitting down with me. I just hope that this gleans some knowledge on some new runners or runners new to the area and wanting to come up and run this race. It was there. Was there anything that you all want to close out with?
Yeah,
Any words?
in line with what Carrie was saying, On Pace can be found at the URL www.onpacerace.com. If you've heard something tonight that is inspiring or attractive to you, if you're a first timer, if you're I've had bad experiences or whatnot, I will tell you that there's 1,400 of us in the On Pace community. So when Miguel was saying, "If what about you all?" and it's he's part of it, we're part of it. We steward it, but we listen to the community in every way that we can, and we are sincerely here to help people get to their finish line, and their finish line is whatever it takes to get them past the last step so that they can feel the accomplishment of something that less than 1% of people in this world have been able to do. So whether you can come and join us at the Milwaukee Lakefront Marathon, our calendar is published of everywhere we'll be. Find one close to you or that's attractive to you in some form of way and come meet us. And then let's rip some miles up and crunch some gravel and get to the finish.
Absolutely. Couldn't say it better. Thank you, Miguel.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Paul. I just wanted to say that run the race you're in, and forward is a pace.